What is going on, guys? Cloudism's here with 3 Hunter builds that are going to make the Legendary campaign an absolute breeze. So for starters, we're going to be running the new Void 3.0 subclass. I'm running Mobius Quiver personally. It feels incredible. I would highly recommend you guys try it out. Gambler's Dodge, of course, to get my melee back after dodging near an enemy. I prefer Triple Jump. We're running Snare Bomb, of course, and the Vortex Grenade. So the Vortex Grenade was recently buffed, and it's going to pull enemies inside, dealing an insane amount of damage, so I highly recommend you guys run this one. For the aspects, I'm running the Trapper's Ambush, so I can smoke myself and go invisible. You can also use Quick Fall, which will weaken the enemies and make you invisible. Stylus Executioner is very, very good. I would definitely try this one out. If you kill an enemy with your grenade, it'll make you invisible. Or you can smoke an enemy, kill him, any other enemy that's debuffed by a suppression by another teammate, you can kill him and it'll make you invisible. Also, while you're invisible, if you melee an enemy, it will apply the weaken debuff to him. For my fragments, I like to run Echo of Remnants, which will make my Vortex Grenade last longer, therefore doing more damage. Using Echo of Undermining, this will apply weaken to my targets as well, which, if you guys didn't know, is a 15% debuff. And finally, we're using Echo of Persistence, which is going to make my invisibility last a lot longer. This is going to help stay alive in the Legendary campaign and give you a lot more time to generate your cooldowns or heal. Highly recommend running it. So, for the build, I'm running Deathbringer, which you will see why later, along with a Void Fusion Rifle. You can run any of your choice. Also, keep in mind the old Pinnacle Fusion is now for sale in the kiosk if you didn't get a chance to get it, so I definitely pick that up. The new Snorri FR5 is also incredible. You can get something like Surplus or Compulsive Reloader with Reservoir Burst. So if you missed out on those, feel free to try this one out as well. I'm running any kinetic primary that has osmosis on it. I would highly recommend trying this out, just because we're going to be using some experimental mods that will make your primary do a lot more damage. Some notable primaries that have osmosis would be the Prophecy Hand Cannon, Fatebringer is my personal favorite. You can get a couple auto rifles with osmosis as well, so definitely keep an eye out. I would definitely recommend at least trying it. You might not enjoy it though. For the helmets, I'm running Argent Ordnance along with Harmonic Siphon. Since we're matching our weapons to our subclass, which is Void, we're going to be generating an orb on multi-kills. I'm running a rocket launcher ammo finder and a stat mod. For the gloves, we're going to be running 2 grenade kickstarts. This is going to give us a bunch of grenade energy just upon throwing our grenades, so it'll help with our cooldowns a ton. We're also going to be running elemental charge so we can fuel our Argent Ordnance rockets. For our chest piece, we are running Bountiful Wells. This will just give us a little bit more of our cooldowns when we're picking up wells. We're going to be getting rocket launcher reserves to carry an 8th Deathbringer shot. You can use any rocket of your choice. I just highly recommend a Void one. We're going to be running the new seasonal thermoshock plating, which is just going to be arc and solar resistance combined into one mod. You can pick that up in your artifacts. It's in the 3rd column, 2nd one down. It's very, very cheap, only 2 energy costs. And you're also going to want to pick up the Fonts of Might from here. Later on, I'm going to try out Volatile Flow, but it looks amazing. Keep an eye out on this mod. You might want to slot it in for one of the choices here, probably Bountiful Wells, if anything. I'm running Orpheus Rig to make my quiver have an extra shot, so we're going to get 3 volleys, not 3 volleys, sorry. We're going to shoot 3 arrows of 3 volleys to do a bunch more damage. We're running Elemental Ordnance, so if we kill an enemy with our grenade, we're going to get 2 Elemental Wells thanks to Bountiful Wells. We're running Beller already to pair nicely with our Harmonic Siphon so we can heal if we're getting a bunch of Void kills. We're running the new Rocket Launcher Scavenger. Bungie clearly wants us to be using rockets this season since this is only a 1-point cost mod. I would highly recommend picking this up. It'll make your rockets ammo so much more plentiful. And finally, on our cloak, we're running 2 bombers, so if we dodge near an enemy, not only will we get our smoke back, but we'll get a big chunk of our grenade back as well. And finally, we're running an extremely, extremely underrated mod, at least so far, that is called Font of Might. This is going to make you do a ton more damage with weapons that match your subclass element. So since we're running Void, we're going to be using Void weapons. That's why I'm running Deathbringer and a Void Fusion with Osmosis. And it's not a small amount either. So with all that in mind, we're going to go ahead and jump in game and see how this first build works. Alrighty, so here we are with the first build. I'm running Argent Ordnance with my wells, so if I get a grenade kill here, we're going to see some wells pop out, and if he would step in, he would have saw some purple numbers, but that's okay. As you can see, I'm getting my cooldowns back. I got Charged Light ×2, and I got a 10-second Void weapon boost. We're going to do that one more time just so you guys can see it. I'm going to get a little bit of my grenade back here. We're going to just kind of hang out for a second. And whenever you're going to engage in big DPS on a boss or something, what you're going to want to do is either have your grenade or your smoke up, and you're going to want to have your charge with light as well as a void damage boost. So we're going to get our void damage boost again here, if I don't get blasted away. Look at that nice invisibility. So we're going to grab this, and what we're going to do is pull out our rocket here, and we're going to throw smoke at this guy to apply weakens, and shoot our rocket. And as you can see, hopefully that lands before the void runs out. We did a ton of damage to this dude. We can finish him now, but as you can see, it is super, super strong. If I get my grenade back again, I can show you guys the new damage on my Deathbringer. So as you can see, my Deathbringer is now void, and I got a void damage boost. So I'm getting 9,600 damage with this, which is going to feel really, really good in the Legendary campaign. If you have a weapon that can roll with like Frenzy, Rampage, any other damage perk plus Osmosis, this is going to feel incredibly strong. Of course, you can throw your grenade at the enemy to apply the debuff to them. It's going to make them take a lot more damage. And here's the pull effect from the Vortex. You can see it's just super easy to get the ads under control with this. Whether it's killing enemies with your primary, you can smack stuff or shoot stuff with your glaive, fusion rifle, whatever you're using, it'll be super easy and you could put out a ton of damage with it. So that's the first build. Alrighty, so that was the first build. For our second build here, we're going to be leaning a little bit more into the wells. So let me go on Dim and swap this over a little bit. And what this build is going to do differently from the first one is we're going to lose the empowerment from our rockets, and instead we're going to lean more into our cooldowns and keeping our Font of Might up a little bit longer. I believe we're going to be at 16 seconds now, when normally if you pick up Font of Might you would get 10 seconds of bonus damage, which you guys should have seen from the gameplay. And as you can see, not much has changed here. We've got Fonts of Might now, well actually still on our cloak. We've got Elemental Ordnance on our grenade still. Nothing has changed here except we're running Elemental Armaments now. This is going to spawn some more wells. We're not going to be having double wells like we did with Bountiful Wells, but now our Deathbringer or our Osmosis weapon plus any of our other weapons are going to be spawning an additional well. So this will keep the uptime on Font of Might a lot higher. We're running Elemental Time Dilation on our Stasis Gloves, as well as Grenade Kickstart. Elemental Time Dilation is the main reason why our Font of Might is going to be lasting longer. And on our helmets, we're doubling up with Font of Might. The way Elemental Time Dilation works is the more stacks of each thing that is time-based you have on, it'll increase the duration. So with 2, we're going to be getting about 16 seconds, as I said earlier. Nothing else has changed here. We're still running Harmonic and Rocket Finder. With that in mind, I'll show you guys some damage with this build, which is just going to be a lot more consistent damage and less let's melt the boss. Alrighty, so here we are with the Elemental Time Dilation build, and the idea here is to have a high uptime on Void damage boost. So if we get a kill here, it's going to turn our grenade to Void, or excuse me, our hand cannon to Void. We're going to need a 16 Void damage boost here, and we're just going to start getting some kills with our hand cannon. We're going to be trying to proc Elemental Armaments here. So, yep, there's a well right there. You can see we haven't even run out of our Void damage boost there, and we already have another refresh on it. So you can have a very high, if not indefinite, uptime on Void damage boost, as long as you're running something, like a Void weapon that can proc it. That's why I like Osmosis so much, and it will greatly increase your damage output along with your ability regen. So every time we pick up a well, we're going to get a nice little boost of our grenade back. The other benefit is we're going to get some more damage off on our rocket. It's not going to be as much as the Godslayer warheads, but it's still going to be a great number. So yeah, it is a little bit weaker. We're not getting our empowered rockets, but we are going to have a big uptime on our primary, on our special, if we're running a fusion like I am just now, and get some insane uptime on damage buffs. So there we are. I still haven't run out yet. Keep getting some kills. You can see we're just getting wells left and right. We're going to be getting a ton of cooldowns on our abilities. We're going to be spamming our grenades. doing whatever we like, and this one's a lot more just accessible for having the abilities and just having a passive damage boost, basically. There we are. I still didn't even run out. So that's the build idea for this one. Like I said, it is a little bit weaker in the DPS department just because you're losing out on the impoundment rockets from Argent Ordnance, but it feels very good nonetheless. On to the last build. Alright, and finally, I'm going to show off the third and final, I would say even the strongest build. And this one's going to rely on the Lucky Pants paired with Malfeasance. So we're still going to be running our Font of Might, but this time we're going to have Argent Ordnance on our helmets. We're going to be running Elemental Charge here, so this is pretty much the same as the Empowerment build. It's just a little different. I'm running Well of Ordnance here, just because my uptime on void damage is going to be a little bit different, but you can absolutely swap this out. I'm actually going to do it just for now, just because this will help your grenades, but I feel this will be a little bit more powerful at the moment. So on our Lucky Pants, we're going to be running the exact same perks. We're running Elemental Ordnance, Rocket, and Better Already. Nothing else has changed here. We do have Bountiful Wells once again on our chest piece, and our Charged with Light. So the big difference here is Malfeasance is going to be doing a ton of damage to bosses and miners, and our pants are going to be what's allowing that to do as much damage as possible. You can run your new glaive if you'd like with this, since we're still running Font of Might, or anything void. You can still use your fusion or anything you prefer. There's a new sniper that's very good as well. You're definitely going to want to find a void rocket. However, I've been using this Palmyra B, which is very, very strong. It has tracking innate. You can get auto-loading and explosive light on it, and it feels amazing. But keep an eye out for a good void legendary rocket that you could slot in here. With that all in mind, I'm going to jump into the gameplay here and show you guys how powerful this build can be. Alrighty, here we are with the Malfeasance build. So as you can see, Malfeasance is doing a ton of damage on its own thanks to the buff to exotic primaries. We're now doing 40% more damage than we used to. So I'm owning guys with my Malfeasance. What I'm going to do to proc the damage buff is you need to make sure your gun's fully reloaded before you do any damage. We're going to get our well buff along with our charge with light. We're not going to get a ton of void boost just here because I'm using a stasis rocket, but the idea is you debuff the enemy, you shoot your rocket, you switch to your Malfeasance, and then you're going to absolutely shred their health bars. And this applies to, you know, every enemy. So that's a good example of how much damage it can do in a burst scenario. I could have just killed the boss entirely with Malfeasance. I mean, it does so much damage, but I wanted to show you guys what a rotation of DPS would look like. If you had your tether, obviously shoot that first, because your tether debuff is going to be 30%, where your weaken is just going to be 15. So, look at tether's so strong, I love it. But yeah, that's how strong this build can be. I'll show you again, as you can see. I'm just waiting for that out of luck to run out. I'm going to switch to any weapons, pretend I'm fighting, and then we're going to switch back and start absolutely melting people. Just look at the damage buff thing at the bottom left. We're doing like 40k, 30k there. It's insane. It's going to absolutely melt the legendary health bar enemies along with any bosses that you encounter. As you guys know, without saying any spoilers, the last couple boss fights can be really, really tricky with the amount of health they have and how consistent you have to be with not dying. So something like Malfeasance that can fill in damage where a heavy might be out of ammo is going to be absolutely incredibly helpful. Just in case you guys didn't know how it works, if I shoot this shot, you can see it gives me the out of luck debuff down there. That just means I have to wait 10 seconds before I can get the damage buff again. So I'm going to wait this out. I'm going to be on a different weapon, and then whenever I swap back to whatever hand cannon you're using, you just start spamming as soon as you swap out, and you'll be getting the damage buff when you hit your shots. You can also swap out Crimson. You can run Last Word with Marksman Dodge, or you can run a Void hand cannon that is a 180 with something like High Impact Reserves. It'll do just nicely with damage output, so definitely give this a try. I personally think the Malfeasance build is the strongest. I'll show one more clip of me just killing the boss entirely with Malfeasance, just so you guys can get a grasp of how strong the Lucky Pants make this weapon. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have some builds ready for the Titan or the Warlock. If you would like to see them, please let me know in the comments and I can put them together for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.